My name is Emily. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. In today's video, I am wanting to do a video that I love to watch on YouTube. I think that's going to be kind of what I do, is doing videos that I personally love to consume. I'm going to be doing a continuing book series, or continuing series I'm in the middle of. I am currently in the middle of 20 series, which I feel like is not too bad, but technically only 9 of those I have books that are currently out to be read. So the other 11 I'm technically in the middle of, but I still am waiting on the next book to come out to finish it. So technically I'm up to date on 11, but need to complete 9 of those. I do track my series using the tracker that was created by Maisie May. I got it for free, but I believe it's now for purchase on Etsy, so I'll link it down below, but I did not create this. I did this in 2025, and then I remade it in 2026. As you can see at the top, I have a total of 20 series I'm in the middle of. I'm up to, oh, sorry, I lied. I'm up to date on 10, and I need to finish 10. I feel like that's not too bad. I think I'm 50%, but it's not showing my in progress correctly. But the current series that I'm in the middle of, I'll quick run through them just as like a prelim. But the books that I'm currently in the middle of that I need to finish, not the up-to-date ones, just ones that I'm actively in the middle of, that I have books that are out that I need to read. Does that make sense? Am I over-explaining this? I don't know. The Mortal Instruments, the Skyward series, the Legendborn Cycle, Flame and Thorns, Jade City, Beartown, which I might take that off. I don't know yet if I'm going to continue that series, but Beartown, The Poppy War, War of Lost Hearts, Red Rising, and Compelling Fates. In today's video, I'm gonna get a little bit further on 3 of these series. I will stop talking, and the first book we are going to read will be Jade Legacy. I have already started it, but this is a thick book, so I figured I should start with this book. It's like 700 something pages, but I will check in with you, I think probably when I'm like a 1/4 of the way through, so, which will be a second from now for you, but probably a couple days later for me. It's an extremely awkward angle, but I just did not feel like getting out my tripod because I just cleaned my whole house, so I don't feel like just getting out my tripod. Anyways, I have not talked to you since I've started this book, or actually since I've started this video. So I am currently I'm on page 296, which is like 40%, I believe. And I wish I was recording earlier today, me reading this, because I went through such a range of emotions within like 3 chapters. But my thoughts so far, obviously I can't say too much about what's going on, obviously, without spoiling the other 2. But the beginning of this book, because, and I have mentioned with this series that you do get a lot of info, and it can feel info dumpy and a lot of politics. And before now, it really wasn't bothering me. I actually was really enjoying all the nitty-gritty and the mundane. But the beginning of this book was feeling slow for me, and it was kind of hard for me to get through. I think it's been like almost a week since I've started this book. Actually, it's been a week since I've started this book now. And it just was really, really hard for me to like get to this point. And it was feeling kind of not boring, but I was just it wasn't keeping my attention as much as the other 2. So I was a little bit disappointed. So I did start another book as well, not DNFing it, just kind of having another option. So if I'm getting bored with this book, but still want to read, I can pick up another book. Anyways, I was feeling that way until this morning when I was reading. And oh my God, I went through every emotion. Like what happened was like so shocking and honestly devastating. And I was like, there's no way. It was like I just couldn't believe what had happened. It was just so, I should have known, like, with Fonda Lee, like, she's kind of like Pierce Brown, where she's ruthless with her characters, and I was like, just like, there's no way. I just went through so many levels and different emotions this morning. I still don't have any definitive thoughts, but I was getting a little bit bored at the beginning, but it is picking up now. So I just came on to say that I am about 40% of the way through, and I am enjoying it. Just the first, like, 30% was, like, kind of almost too mundane for me, and which is weird because I haven't felt that way through the other 2 books. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I think the rest of the book hopefully is gonna keep it, like, picked up pace, and I hope the rest of the book is going to continue at that pace. But anyways, as I mentioned, I did end up starting another book, just, like, so I could kind of, like, bounce between 2 books. I don't normally do that, but once in a while, if I'm, like, reading a high fantasy book that's, like, does have a lot of info, and I just need almost like a brain break, I ended up picking up Red Scrolls of Magic, by Cassandra Clare. Now, I am going to read City of Fallen Angels, is that the book? In this video, but I am following the Cassandra Clare suggested reading order, and I totally forgot about this book. This is technically not a part of, well, is it a part of a series? Is supposed to be based on the Cassandra Clare reading order. You read the first 3 Mortal Instruments series, read this, then go into the Infernal Devices, and then go back to the last 3 in the Mortal Instruments. I read the first 3 in the Mortal Instruments, read the Infernal Devices, and then forgot about this book. So now I'm picking up this book, and I want to pick up this book before I go into City of Fallen Angels. So I'm picking up this. It is short. It is like 300 something pages. I think I only got 20 pages into it last night, but because Jade Legacy picked up, I haven't picked up this anymore. But I was at a slow point last night, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick this up just as a little bit of a brain break. But again, this has been picking up, so I haven't really felt the need to pick this up. But yeah, I normally don't read 2 books at once, but I did today. I just cleaned my whole house. I feel so much better. I don't love cleaning, but I love the feeling of after cleaning. So that's the only way that I can get through cleaning my house, is by reminding myself how good I feel after I clean. I really want an acai bowl, so I think I'm going to finish getting ready, get a bag ready. I'm going to go eat an acai bowl, and then I think I'm going to go to Barnes & Noble and read in a Barnes & Noble and maybe peruse. Sounds like fun to me. For the weird update, but I just got done working out, and I've mentioned, I think previous in other videos, that I read at the end of my workout. I do 30 minutes on the stair stepper. I have, like, when I started on the stair stepper, I had, like, I don't know, 40 pages left. And the chapter I just read was so heartbreaking, and that happens to me all the time, where, like, I'll be in public reading, but I get to the worst possible part of my book to be in public. Like, it's either really it's like emotional, or like it's a spice scene. It's just not, they're just not good scenes or good chapters to be reading in public. So I just read one of the most heartbreaking, actually the most heartbreaking chapter in this entire series in public, and tried not to cry. I have 18 pages left in this book. So I'm gonna go home. Oh my God, I want to cry now. It was so heartbreaking. yet like beautiful. There we go. I was so upset I couldn't cry about it like in public. I should probably leave my thoughts until I'm done, but I have 18 pages left of this book, so I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna finish it. I also need to eat. I'm so hungry. I have 10 pages left, so I'm gonna stay here and read them before I have to leave for work. Also, I have a matcha. Sorry, I'm currently dog sitting, so okay, so we're gonna just, I'll try and talk over his breathing. This is Goose. Anyways, I wanted to give an update on Jade Legacy. Oh my god. No, I just did my makeup. He weighs 80 pounds. Anyways, I finished Jade Legacy last night, or yesterday morning. Like I said, as you saw, I was about to start crying. I am between a 4.25 and a 4.5 for this book, but I cannot stop thinking about this ending. I do feel like this ending was the perfect conclusion to this series. The reason it's not a 5-star is just because the middle felt really, really slow for me, to a point that I actually ended up picking up another book in the middle of it just to try and give myself a break so I wouldn't get burnt out on this. And I do think that that helped, but that's the only reason for the 5 stars. I just like this whole series has consistently been a lot of like info, and like not info dumpy, but there's been a lot of politics and world building. And like I said in my January, February wrap up that like this is such a flushed out world, and like Fonda Lee has to have an economics degree because there is not a single part of this world that is not thought through when it comes to politics, economics, the way that it functions, the money system, all of it, the way that countries interact with each other, war, and then also make it fantasy. Like this is an urban fantasy because where are you going? This series spans 30 years. Like we get 30. We get so much time with these characters. Again, it spans 30 years. There we go. This series spans 30 years. So we get so much time with these characters. So it allows you, like, it is so easy to get connected to them because you know them. Like, you are seeing their lives. You're seeing their children's lives. And the way that this story started to where it ended, this was such a good conclusion to this series. I truly believe that. It is thick. And like, yes, there are parts, and I recognize that, like, going back, like, why none of these books have been 5 stars is like, there were points where I was like, I don't know if bored is the right word, but like borderline bored. I don't know if bored's the right word. It was just a little bit slower. But again, I have to give Fonda Lee her flowers for how fleshed out this world and this series is. Like, there, again, is not a single thing that is not thought out throughout this series and this world. Like, Fonda Lee thought of everything. This feels like a real world. These feel like real countries. They feel like real problems. They feel like real characters. Like every part of this feels real. And like we not only see the characters grow, but we see like the world grow, like, and evolve, and like even technology change. So I recommend this series highly. It's none of them have been 5 stars, but I can't help but like recognize how good this series is and how well written and well thought out and fleshed out this series is. So I give Fonda Lee her flowers for this. So anyways, this is the first book we read. This book took me a long time. Like this video is gonna take me a while to finish. But it took me a while, but it was well worth it. I kind of am feeling slumpy and I don't know what I want to read next. I had a TBR. I'm like, I don't know what to read. I think I mentioned briefly that I started Red Scrolls of Magic because I forgot that I need to read that to go into the next book in the Mortal Instrument series. And like technically I'm finishing it's like continuing a universe, but that the Red Scrolls of Magic is starting another series within the Shadowhunter world. I still am currently reading that. I'm like reading it in between. I think I'm gonna read that book like as I read other books. But I have no idea what I want to pick up. So I'll probably check in later when I've decided what I'm gonna pick up. But I don't know right now because I feel like because I'm just upset. I'm not upset it's over, but I am like mourning this series a little bit. So like that's how I know it's a good series, because I'm mourning that I'm not with these characters anymore. You're gonna have to deal with dog breathing for this video. I have decided on the next book I'm gonna read. I have abandoned my TBR, not just my video TBR, but my TBR for the month. Because I don't know why, I feel like finishing the Greenbone Saga and finishing Jade Legacy has kind of like put me in a little bit of a reading slump where I'm like, because again, I'm like, what now? I've spent so much time with these characters, what now? But anyways, I've picked a book that I'm going to read. I read a little bit this morning and then during my lunch break. So I'm actually now 53 pages into A Promise So Bold and Broken? That's a weird name. Yeah, A Promise So Bold and Broken. This is the second book in the Compelling Fate saga. The first one was A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. So this is the second one. So I still am continuing a series, but I'm abandoning. He either sees a squirrel or a lizard. Both are feasible. I am still continuing a series, but I've kind of abandoned the TBR in lieu of not going into a reading slump. So, but my initial thoughts are, I really like this series. I really liked the first one. I'm only 50 pages into this one, but I'm excited for where the story is gonna go. But anyways, I read A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly at the very beginning of February, so I'm very excited to go back into this world and excited for where it's gonna go. So I'm gonna sit here and read for a little bit, hang out with my pal Goose over here. I freaking love him. I'm obsessed with this dog. He rode good with me in the car. He's just a good dog. Anyways, I'm gonna read. I was gonna give you a halfway update through A Promise So Bold and Broken, but I ended up just binging it. So I have no midway update, or I feel like I haven't even given an update, but I ended up finishing it, and I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5, which I think is the same that I gave A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. If you haven't heard of A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly, we are following Licia, and Licia is a half-fae who is under a blood oath with the Fae King after an accident happened, and she's kind of forced into that blood oath. And kind of the king can, in exchange for like her semi-freedom, the king can call in a blood oath at any point, and he calls in his to make her be a part of the human or like mortal elections for the next regent. He wants her to spy on the new regent, or like he wants her to spy on the current regent. So we're following her. There's a lot of court politics in the first one, and then, without spoiling this, we continue on directly after A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly into this one, and this one has a lot more of like the fantastical elements, and we get a lot more like character development. Now, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this world. I really enjoy our characters and like the relationships, and also the writing style I feel like is really good. I fly through this book, hence why I gave no update, because I have been busy, and when I wasn't busy I was reading, and when I was reading I was just flying through it. Like, this is some of like, not a fast reader. I read this book so fast. I read it in 2 days or 3 days, like 3 days. I think I read it in 3 days. And once I picked it up, there was like no putting it down. The only reason I ticked off some points is because there was a couple moments that I got really cringed out on, and I just couldn't, I don't know, there was just some cringy moments, or like, especially at the beginning, like reactions that the characters were doing were just so dramatic. And like, yes, I know this is fiction, it's fantasy, but it was just so like, oh my god, no one would react that way. Random stuff just kind of was like taking me a little bit out of the story. So that's where the half star came off, but it did get better at the end. But there were still some moments that were just too cringy and too dramatic for my liking. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend this series so far. I'm only 2 books in, but I just flew through it. I mean, it's only 445 pages, but I was like flying through it, and I love the male character in this book. But again, some stuff that he would do would also cringe me out, and it just took me out of the story with some stuff. But it wasn't too cringy. Like, there's some books that are so cringy that like it'll take me out of the story and like I cannot get back into it. That didn't happen. Like, I'd be cringed out and then I'd be like, ooh, and then I would continue reading and it would be fine. I kind of mentioned that I started this book. I started The Red Scrolls of Magic, which is another book in the Shadowhunters world. Now, I've been reading that like here and there. I started it while I was reading Jade Legacy, and I mentioned that. And I think for the sake of this video, I'm gonna count that as continuing a series. Technically, it is starting a new series in the Shadowhunters world, but it's continuing me further in the Shadowhunters world, if that makes sense. I'm gonna count it as continuing series for the sake of this video, and so I'm not filming this for so long, and so I can hopefully get this video out soon, because I've been filming this for like 2 weeks. I failed at the end of this video. I gave you no updates while reading this book. I actually finished this book yesterday before we went to the beach, and I just didn't have any time, or didn't find the time to update you last night. This book is pretty short. It's only 345 pages, but I did finish The Red Scrolls of Magic last night by Cassandra Clare, or yesterday morning. I actually started this book a long time ago when I started in the middle of reading Jade Legacy, because I said I kind of needed a break. But I don't think I ever gave you like my midway thoughts or even my initial thoughts on this book, but I ended up rating this book a 3 stars. This book follows Alec and Magnus Bane. Alec is a shadow hunter and Magnus Bane is a warlock. I won't say like too much about them, but you meet them in other series, and this is kind of like the Shadowhunters world. I think I already mentioned this earlier in this video, so I won't say it again, but there's so many series intertwined in one world. So technically, I did start the first book in the Eldest Curses series, but this book furthered me in the Shadowhunters world. So we're gonna count it as continuing a series because I'm continuing the world. And like, I literally could not go on to the next book in this world without reading this. So I'm gonna count it as continuing a series or a world while it is still starting another series within the Shadowhunters world. I feel very indifferent to this book. I rated it a 3 star. It's bang on in the middle for me, just because I don't really know. Like, there wasn't any part of this I hated, but none of it like really drew me in. The only thing was I laughed out loud multiple times in this book. Like, there was one scene, and I'll redact character names, but someone tripped and they were just like laying flat on the ground after tripping, like not moving. It was like one of those moments where you like hurt yourself and you just like sit there like, did that really just happen? And they're like laying on the ground. The other characters are trying really hard not to laugh. And she's like, well, at least look at what I tripped over. I don't know why that like cracked me up. So there was multiple moments in this book that I found very, very funny. However, and I do really like the characters. Like, I especially love Alec. And it was nice to get more of him in this book, because where I'm at in the Mortal Instruments, because I've only read the first three books in that series, we didn't get too much of him, and he was he's older than the other characters, and he's pinned as like this guy who doesn't really break any of the rules. He's kind of stuck up, but he also doesn't really know like truly who he is. And so it was really nice getting more of him in this book. And I also love Magnus Bane. I think he's just a lovable character, especially if you're also following the reading order, Shadowhunters reading order. You've seen him in multiple books and series. So character-wise, I really, really enjoyed. I just think the premise of this book wasn't the most interesting to me. But basically, Alex and Magnus Bane are in Europe, and they're trying to figure out who the leader of the Crimson Hand is and put it down. The Crimson Hand was apparently a cult started by Magnus Bane as a joke, and he doesn't remember starting it. And this cult basically worships this like greater demon, like one of the princes of hell. So it's kind of about them going after and trying to find the Crimson Hand and shut it down. I'm kind of indifferent to it. I think I'm like, yeah, fine. Like, I'm not mad that I had to read it to continue on the Shadowhunters world, but I also like feel like I would have been fine without reading it. Does that make sense? But that brings us to the end of this video. I will go over the 3 books that we read in this video. This video I've been filming for 3 weeks, and I need to get it up today. I've edited it up to this point, and I need to shut up so I can edit a thumbnail and put this video up. The first book we read in today's video was Jade Legacy. This book took me 2 weeks. It is a thick book. Finishing this book, I ended up completing a series fully. I finished the Greenbone Saga, and I rated this a 4.25 at the time, but I feel like this series has put me into a slump. Truly, it's truly put me into a slump. And it's not like this, none of the books in the series were a 5-star, but I think I mentioned this earlier, because I spent so long with these characters, I'm like, what now? I've spent 30 years with these characters, what now? It's only a 3-book series, and I've spent 30 years with them, and I'm like, what now? This book completed a series for me. And then I read A Promise So Bold and Broken. This is the 2nd book in the Compelling Fate saga out of 4 books in that series. So it got me a little bit further into a series. I ended up rating this one 4.5. I cannot wait to continue this series. I really like it. I think very fondly of this series so far. And I'm hoping that maybe the next one could be a 5-star, because I do think it could. So 4.5 for A Promise So Bold and Broken. And then, as we just said, 3 stars for The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare, which got me further in the Shadowhunters world, but unfortunately in my series tracker, I will be counting it as individual series. As I showed you at the beginning of this video, I have that series tracker, and I don't, for the Shadowhunters world, this is the only like series world that like I'm doing like this, but for the Shadowhunters world, I'm counting each series individually on that tracker instead of having it like all the Shadowhunters, because it would be like 20 plus series. Hopefully you guys like this video. I will probably do more of these, especially because I read so much fantasy that I am always in between series. So I'll probably do another one of these. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. Bye-bye.